Why are you poor? I know, that's a tough question, a really provocative one. But the answer is probably a lot more complex than you've been led to believe. Today, we're not going to talk about skipping lattes or making a budget. Nope. We're going to explore the invisible system that really, truly shapes our financial destiny. We've all heard this, right? It's that classic piece of advice, probably from someone who means well. Go on, start that business. Chase your dream job. It sounds so simple, so empowering, but it leaves out one absolutely critical detail. It's pretty easy to jump out of a plane when you know you've got a parachute strapped to your back. But what if you don't? What if the fall is, well, a real fall? That question, it changes everything. And it's at the very heart of what we're talking about today. Is taking a risk really the same for everyone? Okay, to make this really hit home, let's imagine a story. A story of two specialists. They're equally talented, they're just as ambitious. On paper, you'd think they have the exact same starting line. But, as we're about to see, their paths are going to split in a really dramatic way. So take a look at this. This is where the idea of risk gets really interesting. For Specialist A, risk is, well, it's an adventure. It's an opportunity. If they try to launch a startup and it fails, no big deal. They've got a safety net, they can just go home, regroup, and try something else later. But for Specialist B, oh man, it is a totally different world. They're stuck in a job that drains the life out of them because one missed paycheck, just one, could mean total disaster. For them, risk isn't about chasing a dream. It's about sheer survival. And that right there is the key. It's so important to get this. What society might look at and call a lack of courage or not being ambitious enough is actually a perfectly rational, perfectly intelligent calculation for survival. It's not a fear of dreaming big. It's just a very real, very clear understanding of how hard the ground is when there's nothing there to catch you. Now, this story isn't really just about two people. It's a symptom of a much, much larger system at play. So what is this invisible infrastructure that's creating such wildly different results for people? Let's unpack that. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Think back to our two specialists. They could have the exact same level of talent, the same intelligence, the same work ethic. But their access to opportunities to use that talent couldn't be more different. For one, the road is paved. For the other, it's full of dead ends and roadblocks. And it's not because they aren't skilled enough. It's because they lack access. And this invisible infrastructure, it has a name. It's called social capital. Now, this isn't about the money in your bank. It's about the network of people in your life. It's knowing the right person to call for advice. It's getting an introduction that leads to a job interview. It's just having people, a support system, who can help you get back on your feet when you fail. It's the whole system that turns raw talent into actual real-world success. Let me put it another way. Think of social capital as being just as real and just as important as physical infrastructure. It's like the roads that connect you to new places and opportunities. It's like the schools that give you the skills you need. If you grow up without those things, your whole life's journey isn't just a journey, it's like a solo mission through an obstacle course, and you have to build everything yourself. And this really brings us to the central idea of this whole explainer. We always define poverty as not having enough money. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real definition of poverty is simply a chronic lack of access? Okay, so after laying all of that out, I know it might feel a little bleak, but here's where we pivot. And this is so important. This is not a life sentence, not at all. In fact, understanding the problem is the very first step toward building the solution. So if you weren't born with that infrastructure already in place, you have to become your own architect. You have to be the engineer. You have to start consciously, deliberately building your own social bridge, one connection at a time. So how in the world do you actually build this bridge? Well, it really starts with three key things. First up, seek out mentors. Find people who have already walked the path you want to walk. Their advice is like a shortcut across the canyon. Second, share your knowledge. Don't be a hoarder with your expertise. Be generous. When you help other people, you become a really valuable part of the network. And finally, you have to be visible. You got to put your skills, your ideas, your work out there. Opportunity can't find you if you're hiding in the shadows. And please never, ever underestimate the power of this. The right conversation with the right person at the right time can literally change the entire direction of your life. One tiny piece of advice from someone who's been there can save you years of mistakes. A single introduction can open a door you didn't even know was there. This is the real power, the leverage of social capital. All right, so we've gone from understanding the problem to actually mapping out a solution. The real power here isn't just in knowing this stuff, it's in realizing that you can be an active builder of your own opportunities. And that construction project, it can start today. So I want to leave you with this one question. This isn't about some huge 5-year plan. Forget that for a second. It's about the very next step. What is one small, real thing you're going to do today to start building your bridge? Because creating that access for yourself, that might be the most powerful and the most important risk you can ever take.